It is Illinois will have back-to-back home games against Rutgers and Maryland before heading into the final 2 games of the season. So they will face Maryland. That is, I can't remember the date, actually. I didn't write it down. But it's end of November. It's the week before, it's 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. So Maryland will be at Rutgers the week before, which ironically is Illinois' last opponent before this game as well, that we talked about last week. Check out my preview on Rutgers if you want to hear about that matchup as well. It's on the channel. But Illinois actually has they'll host Rutgers, and then they'll have their bye, and then they'll get to host Maryland. So this, other than week 1, will probably be the freshest, most rested that the Illini will be all year, because not only do they have a bye, but it's in between 2 home games. So this is a very favorable situation for Illinois. Not to mention that Maryland will be playing a road game, but they'll still be out on the East Coast because they're playing at Rutgers. Maryland, it's going to be a transitional year for Maryland for sure. They definitely had a down year last season compared to the last couple years in program history. A lot of transfers and just younger guys that'll need to step up for Maryland. So we'll see. It's really hard to predict now, since we're looking at November games now. We're really looking at end of the season, what this Maryland team is going to look like, going to be like at this time. But do just know that they are kind of going through a transition. Like if they are meeting them at the beginning of the year, there'd be absolutely no doubt in my mind that Illinois will crush them. I don't know if Illinois crushed them, but they still should definitely win this game. All-time versus Maryland, they've only played 3 times, even though Maryland has been in the conference since 2014, which I found very surprising. The Illini are unfortunately 1-2 in those 3 games and 0-1 in Champaign. So this will be the second time Maryland will be coming to Champaign for a football game. Their last meeting was in 2023, 2 years ago, on October 14th. Illini won that one. That was actually their win. They won at Maryland 27-24. And then their last meeting in Champaign was 2 years prior to that on September 17th of 2021, in which they lost 2017 at home. Their only other meeting outside of that, their first meeting ever, didn't come till 2018. It was October 27th. That was at Maryland, and Illinois got rocked 63-33. We just were not good back in the day. And Maryland's had some good seasons since they've been in the Big Ten. Going into that, I mean, last year was certainly a down year for Maryland. They were 4-8 and 1-8 in the Big Ten, right? And they only won 1 game on the road as well. Their only Big Ten win was that thriller they had against USC. They won 29-28 in that one. Their other wins were out of conference. They beat UConn 50-7. At Virginia, they won 27-13. And then at home against Villanova, 38-20. But in 2023, they were a lot better. They've been consistently good outside of last year. 2023, they were 8-5 and went 4-5 in the Big Ten, 3-2 on the road, winning record on the road. They did lose to Illinois that year. That's when their last meeting was. But they had some good wins in the Big Ten, including some impressive road ones, like not crazy impressive, but still, I mean, any road win in the Big Ten is good. But, these are teams that are not complete garbage, like Michigan State, Nebraska, and Rutgers. But they did have some bad losses, too. Like, Illinois was only 5-7 that year, so I would consider that a bad loss for an 8-5 team. And then also they lost at Northwestern. Come on, that's always a bad loss. We know Northwestern is never good. And then they did beat Auburn, though. They went to the Music City Bowl that year, and they smoked Auburn 31-13 in Nashville. 2022, they were also 8-5 and 4-5 in the Big Ten. Only difference was they were 2-3 on the road, so a little worse on the road. But they played Michigan, who was ranked 4th in their first Big Ten game that year, and they lost by only 7, and that was at the Big House. That's really impressive still. They had wins against Michigan State, at Indiana, Northwestern, and Rutgers in the Big Ten. And then they went to another bowl. They went to the Duke's Mayo Bowl, which is one of my favorite bowl games. They lost that one. Or they won that one. No, they won that one against number 23 NC State, 16-12. 2021, they were 7-6, so not quite as good as they got those 2 years afterwards, not prior. But 3-6 in the Big Ten. They did start 4-0, including a 62-0 win over Howard, and then the following week, winning at our Illini 22-17. But then they got absolutely wrecked the rest of the year. But they did beat Virginia Tech in the Pinstripe Bowl, 54-10. And then it shortened 2020 season. They were 2-3 and 1-2 on the road. Not really too much to say there. They did win at Penn State though, but nobody was there, so take that with a grain of salt. Their head coach is Mike Locksley. Overall, his head coaching record is 35-67, which is not great overall, but he's been a lot better at Maryland. He's 3-0 in bowl games. He was a coach at New Mexico for a while, and that did not go his way. He's had a couple different stints with Maryland, not as head coach. He first joined them in 1997 as a running backs coach, and he was also recruiting coordinator from 1998 until 2002. Then he took some coordinator roles. Then he went to Florida 2003 and 2004, was running backs coach, and then he came to Illinois from 2005 till 2008. And he was the offensive coordinator for the Illini. Actually took them when he took over, they were 72nd in the nation offensively, and then he jumped them all the way up to 19th. So he did a great job when he was with the Illini. No doubt about that. The team also led the Big Ten in rushing in 2006 and 2007 when he was with the Illini. And then led them, but he was definitely a big part of that 2009 Rose Bowl as well. And then after his success at Illinois, he went to New Mexico for 3 years. It was very bad. He won 2 games in 3 years. So he went back to Maryland as an offensive coordinator and QB coach in 2012 after the New Mexico thing did not work out. He did get to take over as interim head coach, and that did not start well. He started 1-5. But then he started to pick things up offensively. He had Stephon Diggs there that he got to work with at wide receiver. So just some good stuff there. Then he went to Alabama, and he was an analyst for Nick Saban for a little bit before then coming back to Maryland in 2019, where he's then taken over as head coach. Since then, he has been he's been decent at Maryland. He's 33-41. So he's been at Maryland, still a losing record, but his career record looks a lot worse than that just because of the New Mexico years. Real quick, we got a minute here. We're going to talk about some of the top players to watch out for on the Maryland Terrapins. You have Jalen Husky. He is a senior safety. He is incredibly dangerous. He actually moved there. He played corner until last year when he moved to safety, and it was a very good move for him. He was fantastic. You got Ratrell Perry at offensive tackle. He's a junior who's transferring in actually from Central Connecticut State. I guess they found a gem there. You got Daniel Wingate at inside linebacker. He is a junior. He's very dangerous as well and was a core leader of their defense in 2024. Then you got Levain Scruggs. He is another safety to watch out for, so definitely got to worry about their secondary. And then you have Dorian Fleming. He was a tight end, or is a tight end. I don't know why I said was. He's transferred in as well from Georgia State. He had 49 catches, 6 touchdowns there with the Panthers. I think the Georgia State Panthers. And then just other 3 players to look out for real quick. You've got Jaleel Farouk, who's a wide receiver, senior. Nolan Ray, a running back, who's a sophomore. And then Justin Martin, quarterback, who's transferring in from UCLA. So, yeah, and he's definitely in the quarterback, likely to be their starting quarterback this year.